Am I here? I think I am. Am I starting? I think so. Am I live? Am I going? It must be. Okay, so here I am. I'm going to be doing my roots today. Color, roots, hair seems to be on a lot of people's mind right now. So bear with me with my little setup here. It's not the best lighting, but you would actually kind of, hi Jackie, hi Stacy. You would be kind of laughing at the whole setup I got here because it's just balanced on cardboard boxes and things. So, oh, life partner, I love you. We need to plan a video date. Yes, we do. We'll get to that. Yeah, so anyways, I want to try to keep this as efficient as I can. I can get a little sideways. But yeah, so roots, here we go. I know there are some salons that are selling color formulas to their clients, which is, that's their prerogative. I'm not in a place to be able to do that. I don't have enough stock in order to be able to offer that to everybody. I also, I entered into a professional agreement with the color company that I use, and I don't want to go against that. So there's a lot around that. I'm not going to get too far into that, but reach out to your actual stylist for guidance in coloring your hair. Because really, at this point, you kind of have three options. You have one, just embrace what's happening, go with it, do nothing. Perfect world, that is your safest option for the integrity and the continuation of your hair color, right? Your second one is the root sprays that are out there. You spray them on the roots and they can blend the hair and things like that. So that's really good for getting through gray and everything like that. And then your third option is to go the home, I'm going to give it a whirl and do some color for my hair. Color, the biggest thing to remember, at least for myself, is I'm not one of those stylists that views the box color in the drugstore as this completely evil, satanic thing that is, out there. At one point in time, I would say, at the beginning of my career, 25 plus years ago, I was like, whoa, store-bought color, drugstore color, because the quality of the color, they had metals mixed into it. They didn't, there wasn't a lot of, the actual product that you were using wasn't necessarily great. Whereas the reality is those box colors have kind of come up in the world in the sense of quality of the product. The big component that's missing is A, your stylist or colorist, and B, your knowledge of how the hair actually reacts to being colored, the chemical component of it. Like there's so many different, is it like wheels that are moving to get the cog, or so many cogs to move the color wheel? I have to stop saying because it's really driving me crazy. Hi Carrie, hi Mike. I don't know if I'm going to say hi to everybody, but I'll try. And so the big thing with coloring hair is, blondes. If you have highlights, balayage, lightener, you have all these kind of high palma and all these kind of things. You get foils on the hair, you get color on the base, there's foils, there's things, there's toners and glosses and all this other stuff. You know what? My beautiful blondes, I love you. Don't touch your hair. Just don't. Blonde has that level of unpredictability that can be there even for colorists that have been doing hair for a long time. If you do get your hair professionally done and you're blonde, you probably come close to worshiping the ground your colorist walks on, and they have probably got your formula to a really specific spot, and you cannot replicate that at home. The overlapping of color when you're working with blonde or bleach, you can literally break all your hair off if you can't make sure that it's not overlapping from the blonde that's been blonde and the darker that's growing in. So unfortunately, if you're darker color, medium brown, blah, 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 and you're going into lighter colors, I would say, honestly, the best thing for you to do is to just ride it out. Don't do anything. Talk to your stylist, reach out to your stylist if you can. about conditioning treatments, potentially toning shampoos, those purple shampoos, so things that if it starts feeling brassy, it could potentially be a time if you have light enough hair to maybe, since you're not going out anywhere, play with a little bit of those really, really, really soft pastel, almost conditioner color type things, just to give you something that feels like there's a little bit more fun happening. So when you have, I fall into the category of coloring my hair at home in like that easy peasy, because if my hair ends up black, whatever, I color my hair almost black. I don't have massive amounts of silver. I mean, I do have some in there. You can see there's a little bit of sparkle, mostly in through this area. So I'm pretty, if you're like this kind of an idea, you know what, I was actually going to not color my hair at all during this time, because I thought, well, why bother? Maybe it'll just be an interesting time to see with this. But I've had so many clients reaching out about, what do I do? What do I do? That I thought, well, at least if they're going to go for it, I can give them a little bit of a framework on how to approach getting your hair color done. The other people that can be challenging to color at home is if you have a really, really high percentage of silver hair, gray, like almost that white silver hair, because if there is not enough in the color formula, you will potentially end up with like pink roots or peach roots, or nothing will happen, or they'll go weird colors, because there's a lot of knowledge in behind coloring gray hair. So if you have like really, really dark ends and really, really white roots, I get you, I feel you. It's a pretty extreme light dark as it grows out. That's where I would say recommend going into with your like color sprays that you can get to blend them out. Or again, reach out to your stylist. I have, and I know I'm probably going to get flack from some of my professional friends, but again, I would at least like to be guiding or holding the hand of my clients if they are choosing to do their color at home. So I have gone on to the L'Oreal, the non-professional, like onto the L'Oreal, is it Paris, I think? Yeah, L'Oreal Paris is the drugstore brand. And, you know, I've gone onto their website and I've looked at the colors, and you know what? It's actually not easy to navigate that, right? So I'm sort of, and I quote, know what I'm doing, but there's a language and you don't know the product, you don't know this thing and it's all about marketing with those, right? It's like the picture on the box. Ooh, I'm going to look like that. You do it on your hair. Ooh, I don't look like that. So reach out to your stylist and they can kind of guide you maybe as to, if you were going to be choosing to use a drugstore color, which ones to stay away from. I would recommend leaving henna to the side. Don't do the henna thing. Henna can create a lot more problems down the line if it becomes, oh great, Yasmin's here. Awesome. Now everything I say, hi Yazzie. So coloring at your hair, I would avoid henna unless you are already a henna user. Then, you know, do what you do. But henna it interrupts with chemical processes down the line, and it coats the hair. It's just messy. So stay away from henna. When it comes down to like the herbatints and the more natural kind of things, honestly, I'm not familiar with them. I've never seen clients have really great results with that if they're at home color people already. But the two biggest things that I see come into the salon that with people that do their colors, because I do have their clients that just financially aren't able to be doing their hair color or their roots, say, every 4 weeks. And this is a reality, which is why I would rather, again, be holding somebody's hand with some of their decisions that they do if they can't either, like right now, get their hair done at all by a professional, because there's no physical distance there. Or if there's someone who's like, I can afford to get my hair colored by you every 3 or 4 months, but in between I'm just going to kind of touch it up and make sure, and then they come in for a reset. So there's a few different ways to do that. First of all, you look in the mirror, you see yourself. So really it's the front part of your hair. I need to see if I can get these. Anybody know how to put the thing? I can't see my own face right now, really. I can't move my things down. Whoa, no, I don't want the view. Sorry, bear with me here. I'm not a technical person. Oh, well, I guess I'm just going to I don't have a mirror in front of me, so all I can see right now is from like my eyebrows up on my head, but that's okay. We'll work with it. Yeah, so focus on the part of your hair that you can see, which realistically, if you put your kind of thumbs on either side here and then join your fingers in behind here, it's kind of that part, this part of the hair that you're wanting to really focus on and concentrate on. So I would say if you're going to be doing something, start at the front and then, yeah, you just kind of go from there. So again, because I can't actually see, there's got to be a way to stop these messages from, no, that's how I comment. Oh well, whatever. All right, so here's my long crazy hair. So what I'm gonna do is just like pretend that I'm just going like from the front, woo, all the way to the back, like I'm gonna make 2 pigtails kind of thing. And you know, like it's not a perfect process when you do it by yourself. You know, you're sort of doing this to make just to get by, or if it's like a weekend or something is coming up. So I'm sure everybody's got like elastic bands or things like this. If you've got things like this, then yay, that's good. Yeah, so you can get clips and stuff like that. And then what you want to do is just like sort of from over the ear, so from where you can see when you look in the mirror and you can sort of see the top of your thing, you're going down to the ear and you're just going to pull that hair forward and get that hair, the back hair out of there. So now I've kind of got, I really can't see myself in this. It's really quite funny. Right, so the other people that are challenging for gray coverage is redheads. And a lot of times redheads, you know, whether they're a natural redhead or they really like, you know, they color their hair. I got hair in my mouth. Oh, this is going to be such a glamorous real life face thing, right? So you kind of like, right, so I've got sort of the front of my hair and the back of my hair. And yeah, it's by far from pro. Okay, other thing, I've taken all my necklaces off. I've taken my earrings off. I'm wearing an extremely old tank top. Everything comes off this way, so I don't have to pull it up and over my head. So that's an important thing. Or, you know, you might end up cutting yourself out of a tank top, but worse things have happened. Case in point, the world right now. Oh, hey, Chris. All right, so I'm just going to put all my hair in the back in a ponytail and just get it out of the equation. Apologies if I have hairy armpits, because, you know, that's one of those maintenance things. So yeah, ponytail there. Now I've got 2 sections in through the front. Now again, like I said, I'm really lucky because I don't color my hair too far off of what my natural color thanks, Jackie, what my natural color really is. So I can actually get away with kind of just like slopping the color on there and smooshing it in, and off I go. So most people, especially if you have color differentiation or things like that, you can't. And so again, coming back to the blondes and saying blondes, just hold on, wait for your stylist, because realistically, even if it's a color that they use and it's not a bleach out or anything like that, it is easier for your colorist to have your natural color grown out to here with all of your blonde hair sticking up here. It is easier for them to color your virgin, uncolored, grown out hair than for them, your stylist or colorist, to be dealing with potential bands of color coming up here of like, okay, I went and bought, you know, super ashy light blonde, and oh my God, I've got yellow roots. Okay, well, I'm going to try super ashy blonde on the next time. And then it grows up. So now when you pick your hair up, it looks like it's got these bands in through here. And that is a nightmare as a colorist to try to work through. So I'm pretty sure most of my color people would do a great big deep bow of gratitude to their blondes that are going from darker blonde or darker brown, medium browns and darker colors into those really light colors. Just ride it out. Ride it out, ride it out, ride it out. Don't band your hair. Don't break your hair. There's so much more you can go. So if you're really silver and you go blonde, again, that's a little different because what you're doing is you're putting in some color into the hair. So you can probably get away with it. Another kind of hint that I tell people if they are, doing like, oh, hey, I'm going traveling for 5 months. I don't know where I'm going to be. And I want to be just doing my roots with whatever international drugstore I go into, is you're better to shy on the edge of a little bit lighter than darker. So think if it's grays, that's your big thing, think that maybe what you're wanting to do is just blend those grays out, give them a little bit of tone so you're not seeing that silver punch, right? Yeah, so you go from there. Okay, so in front of me, if you can, bowl and brush is actually easier to use on yourself, unless, like I said, you're black, right? And you can just like squirt it everywhere and it doesn't matter, because realistically, you don't want to get color on the ends of the hair if you can help it. A lot of times when we're coloring in the salon, we've got one formula for this area, we have a different formula for the ends. If it's a lot of gray coverage that you're going, this formula has enough brown and gold or whatever in it in order to be able to cover the gray hair, so you don't end up looking with that weird peachy, or it just doesn't take, it doesn't cover. But the hair out here already has the gray coverage, so then you're going in with color that isn't permanent. It is a semi-permanent or a demi-permanent color that's just a tone to refresh the ends, to control or brighten or whatever it is, right? There's so many words out there. Hair coloring is confusing for stylists. Like, you can get a room full of professional colorists and stylists that have been doing hair for years and ask them for their favorite, like, I don't know, wheat blonde color formula. And you may end up getting like 50 different answers, and they all end up looking like wheat blonde, but there's a lot of different ways to approach it. So that's the big thing, is that when you're in the salon, your color generally isn't just one thing out of a tube. It's got a few different things. So protection. Here I go. I have had coffee. I have not had any alcohol, which could actually be funny, because a lot of times when I'm coloring my hair at home, I've usually had a glass of wine, and it's like a Friday night or Saturday night, and I'm like, yeah, I want to color my hair, and off I go. So anyways, the other thing is that if you know that you're not necessarily going to be matching the color identical, like say I get a client in who I've never done her hair before, or his hair, but generally female, done her hair before, and I'm pretty sure that I've got the color match happening, but I can't guarantee that it's 100%. Then what I do is I would work, if you wear your hair parted down the middle and you just put color here and here, and then it's not exactly 100% match, you can actually really see that line that happens there. So one way to stop that is to just bring all your hair forward. I really wish these comments weren't right where my face is, because I can't really, I still can't see, it's quite funny. So you sort of just grab the top section, this kind of section here, and you can see I'm pretending to be a little bit of a, maybe like I don't actually know what I'm doing, and just using my fingers just to show you how challenging it can actually be. Because remember, I technically know what I'm doing here. This is fun. Get that out of the way. So let's pretend I've put all my color on through this stuff already. This stuff is colored, and I wear my hair maybe in the middle or parted on either side, whichever way is going. But I don't know exactly that I'm getting my color formula right. So with this, if you actually put this color on where you're doing the color here, taking a section and back, and then working in your slices this way versus putting it on this way, what happens is when this piece of hair here, right? So now you can see where my natural color is. When I hold it up this way, that line actually looks quite hard, but when you drop it down this way, it kind of blurs it out. So if you're doing just, a couple of months, hopefully 2 or 3 months worth of getting your roots done, because let's be honest, I'm pretty sure we're not going to be back in salon until probably, I don't know, June, July. God, I'm going to start going crazy. Anything that's moving, I'm going to start coloring it. All right, so let's get this out of my way here. My contact lenses are doing funny things. Other thing is, because all your comments are right where my face is, I have no idea what I'm looking like, but that's okay. Some people will put barrier cream or like Vaseline or something around here. I totally forgot, so that's okay. I mean, I do stain, but technically I should be able to kind of do. So again, start at the front of the hair, and yeah, you're basically just going to, I'm just going to stand myself up a little bit here. You know, I can see where this is, I can see where this is, and this is why it's hard to do your hair at home, because I'm forgiven with my color, because if I overlap this, it's not going to do anything to the ends of my hair because they're already dark, you know. But if you start over, there should be a box with a stop through so you can, you know, so if you start and you're overlapping the color, again, you can create some potential difficulty down the road. So color what you need to color at this point. If you're like, I wear my hair back all the time, I hate seeing the white here, then you know what, just color in the first little bit of the hair and leave it like that. All right, so I'm gonna start. This is funny. I don't even wanna know. All right, so I've got my color, and again, so I'm just gonna start in behind here, and it's kind of funny because you can feel it when it goes on your head and you're just kind of painting, right? Now, my roots are quite long right now, so I can go in pretty generously on this stuff. This is so hilarious, not doing this in a mirror. So I'm just going to go around the outside. I'm using a small amount of color, as some of my favorite teachers have said. This is a brush, not a shovel. If you shovel it, messy, that's all that's going to happen. Messy, messy, messy. So you're better to go in with less color and keep dipping your brush. You know, and you can feel when the color's on your head because your scalp is actually quite warm. So when the color's put on, you always get this kind of cool sensation. So sometimes with this kind of stuff, I actually just do a little bit more. All right, so there's the kind of outside part done, right? And then, because I'm going cross-eyed now, looking at the screen, then what you do is you just take a section, add some color onto it, get the clip out of the way, then whoa, backward, this is so true, and then, right? And so I'm not trying to do the color this way because that's where it starts to, I don't know, it just is easier to always just kind of go with, you think of mimicking the hairline a little bit, right? Tap some color on there, flip it over, tap some color. So again, I'm just going to keep saying, like, honestly, if you are blonde or have highlights or a complicated color, do yourself and do your colorist or stylist a favor and, well, I can't use much nicer language, but just suck it up. And I mean, I get it. It's hard. You know, our hair defines so much of us. And for some people, it's like, it's a really, really big thing. The other thing is I would be careful on commenting on people's hair right now sometimes, right? Like, I mean, if you know the person really well, go for it, have some fun. But it can be a really sensitive subject to people, right? Like, I know it's interesting times right now. I always get kind of cranky when I hear people that are just like, oh, I like my long hair, but, you know, my husband, or I wish I could have short hair, my husband or partner or boyfriend or whatever doesn't want me to, or any of that kind of stuff. And the hard thing is like, yeah, we all identify with our hair and all that kind of our exterior package. But there are times in people's lives where they have no choice as to what happens with their hair. Be it they're on some kind of a medical treatment and they lose their hair, they have surgery on their head, they have to have sections of it shaved off, they have, well, high trauma, high stress, which is everything that's happening right now. It can actually it can cause hair loss because your hormones are going all like ping-ponging around. Your cortisol levels are like through the charts right now. And I'm just speaking from like hairdresser 101 point of view, just things that I've seen over the years. But whenever I've had clients go through major emotional trauma, stress things, be it family members being ill, relationships ending, jobs ending, all that kind of thing. Some people can be susceptible to hair loss. So be gentle with yourself. So here again, I'm just finding that part kind of thing, and just I'm really being a little blind on this because I still can't really see what I'm doing properly. So just paint it on. Now, if you were doing a color that it was really silver and it was a completely different color, all you would be doing is, I'm doing quite big strokes, is you would be doing something smaller, more like that, right? Just a smaller stroke. But because mine's grown out, I can just drag it down a little bit more and just use some of this to keep these hairs out of the way that are wanting to. I had no problem in the 80s making my hair do the thing because I've got like a really wicked cowlick at the front that just fans the hair over. It's quite funny, but I want you to stay back right now, so get out of my way. Where was I? Oh yeah, hair loss and stuff. And you know, people have, there's immune, when their bodies have an compromised immune system, sorry, I couldn't say that very well, that can sometimes cause hair loss. So you know, that, oh my God, girls should never have short hair because they just blah, 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 those kind of statements can be really hard, right? Like, or if you're constantly, you know, telling your partner how beautiful you think they are because of their long hair and you just love their long hair, you know, what they're hearing is that their hair is what makes them beautiful. And ultimately, it should be our heart and our actions that make us beautiful, not what our hair is doing, because hair can actually be one of those things that you don't always have control over. And if all of a sudden your partner got really sick and had to go on treatment that caused them to lose their hair, and all you'd been saying for your entire relationship was how beautiful you thought their hair was, you're potentially layering on this other crazy layer of emotional stuff to deal with when those kind of situations happen. So, alrighty. I'm not sure if this is as exciting as I thought it would be for you guys. Or I am probably choosing a time where any of my at-home working people are probably, well, I don't know, working. I would kill to be working right now. Oh my God. For a myriad of reasons, right? Like, I've always been a slightly luxurious liver. So, Wendy, hi. Yeah, I've always lived with a certain amount of, I suppose, champagne taste, beer bottle, beer budget or whatever, which is funny because I like champagne and I really like beer. But one thing I've realized here is, anybody else out there realize how much they like spending money? I'm just like, all I have bought for the last almost month now, because I closed my chair on the 15th or whatever. It's like all I've purchased basically is, new tires for the car. That was fun. Stuff you, universe, for doing that one to me. A little screw that can look at. I really also need to give myself a little bit of a facial. I just did a box color and it's horrible. See, Wendy, you're one of those people I was probably talking about, is you have that like dark blonde, light brown hair, and were you trying to go blonde, lighter? I'll give her a second to answer. I can feel little hairs around my ear. That's okay. How'd I do? I think I did pretty good. Feels like everything kind of got caught in there. But again, you see, it's pretty good. So even if you have like crazy long hair, if you use the bowl and brush, you should be able to keep it kind of off the ends here. So I must just be looking prettier and prettier right now. The other thing I have in front of me is an extra towel, and I've got the color bowl sitting on something that's covered. And again, just for anybody who's come in, is I'm not wearing anything over my shoulders because I don't care if it gets on my body. It won't be there long enough to do anything. And then this all comes off this way, so I don't have to worry about pulling anything up and over my head. I was trying to go darker to my natural color. The roots went lighter and the ends where I had blonde went super dark. Sorry, I shouldn't laugh at you, Wendy. But yeah, that makes sense, right? Like, because there's a whole other, that's you basically attempted to do a full-blown color correction on yourself, which if you were going to do that in salon, more than likely you like, I would be using 2, 3, 4 different colors, strengths of color with permanent, demi-permanent, you're filling the thing and all this kind of stuff. So yeah, where the ends were dark, where the ends were blonde and they went super dark, on one thing you could attempt with that is a little bit, and I know this sounds horrible, but a little bit of sunlight dish soap could potentially lighten them up. But other than that, don't attack it with any more blonde or anything like that. Yeah, so here's that top section where I was talking about how it's a way that you can not pretend. I live in a make-believe world now, everybody. Where you can help blend out the regrowth as hey Gary, peace, how it grows out so that you don't end up with a really hard line here. Again, so if I take a little section of this here, right, you can really see where my natural color is here, artificial darker color is up through here, so it looks really hard this way, but when you drop it out this way, it actually looks like relatively soft. So that can be something to help with just if the tone match and even the lightness darkness match isn't even, it'll give you at least a softer blended out look. So I'm going to do the same thing with this section, as I'm going to basically outline it. And again, I'm lucky I have dark hair, so I can be a little bit more sloppy, quote unquote. Well, kind of, yeah, because I can't actually see my face properly with this video, which I've said too many times. I can just kind of schlop the color on there and get it going pretty good. Luckily I can, well, yeah, I totally need to do some moisturizing on my face. I've been outside, oop, I just flicked some color. All right, so and then you just go a little slower around the face, you know? Pick up those little tiny hairs. But if you're going for gray coverage or whatever, again, like I said earlier, like concentrate on the part that you see. So I have a few clients that definitely do little bits of color at home in between, because they only want to get their hair colored like maybe 3-4 times a year by me, but they do a full color, so they get the regrowth and the roots, you know, half an inch every month too, right? Half an inch isn't this much, even though we do say that as hairdressers sometimes, like half an inch is maybe the width of your finger. So that's the other thing to really have a look at, and look at your relationship with that and be like, can I, you know, say this goes on for 6 months, measure out 3 inches and be like, can I manage that? And more than likely you can, like it, you know. So it's a potential opportunity to look at your relationship with what you're born with and how your hair is aging or not aging. I mean, silver and gray hair is, I'm just going to fill in that stuff there too. You know, there's genetics, there's stress level management, there's general health, medication, like I said, yeah, Julian, you would be laughing. I got what do I got in here? I have a couple of cardboard boxes stacked up with my phone propped up on it. Julian's going to turn me into a computer wizard at some point. Okay, so now that I got this awesome sort of like Danzig thing going on here, I'm going to start from the back, right, and move forward, because it's a more natural way for my arm to move, right? It's not actually really anything to do too much with the color going on the head. It's more like doing this and then flopping it down this way. It's better to flop it all back and off your face. So I'll just go in here, and I'm not really drawing a line. What I'm doing is I'm just letting the brush go across the shape of the head. It just kind of moves around. And now it's even harder, because now I've got all the little comments in front of my face, and now I have some of my own hair in front of my face. All right. So again, we got a little bit. Anybody have questions? I'm not sure. Feel free to ask. I can try to answer. or any weird information you want about myself, maybe I'll divulge. It's weird, you know, like I live by myself. I don't have any pets anymore. I do have neighbors that live upstairs that have a really big, awesome yellow dog that they share with me, Lucy. She's awesome. Well, not share, but, you know, if I need a little bit of love and some animal time, she can come out and hang out in the backyard with me. So again, if you were, hairdressers, we can jump and talk about like 10 different things at once. It's a skill set I didn't know that I had, but all of a sudden realize I do kind of have. So if you were doing something that, say, your hair here, like, woo, silver, that you had like silver hair to here, and from here out was either your like medium brown, light brown, blonde, coppers, or whatever color out here, what you would be doing is a small amount, and you would just be tapping it in with a little bit more control, right? So you would just be trying to get the color on just the part that you need, but my hair color is grown out quite far, so again, I can like sort of slop it on there. So anybody that's doing something that does not have as much regrowth, you kind of just want to paint what you can. Now, if you don't have a bowl, which you can just put color, don't put it in a metal bowl, for God's sake, don't put it in a metal bowl. Just use a plastic bowl, like a Tupperware bowl, or even like an old, I don't know, clean yogurt container, just something. And the brush, I mean, it could actually be a paintbrush, like if you had like an art brush that was wider brush, because the color will wash off. This has plastic bristles. I have used things that have natural bristles on it. So yeah, you can use that kind of thing if you want to, but you just kind of keep going here. If you're using a bottle, what you would do is you would have the nozzle of the bottle and you would just draw a line right along here, and then you would use your thumb and you could just smush it forward and then move your section back. And then what you would want is either something like this that has like a pokey bit that you can slide it. Hey Jeff, birthday's coming up soon, buddy. We should have a Zoom party or something if we, you know, May 11 babies. Yeah. Where was I? Right, you draw the line, you squish it and you move it back, and then make sure you just have something that you can keep separating the hair with, not using the bottle to separate the hair, because your tendency using the bottle, if the bottle nozzle to separate the hair, is to squeeze it and put color on the scalp, and you'd probably end up putting too much on. So perfect world, if you're doing it at home, try to get your hands on a brush. I'm pretty sure they sell color brushes in, hey Charlie, color brushes in stores like London Drugs and stuff like that. Or, you know, again, if you're one of my clients, you can reach out to me. Again, like I said, I am not able to supply color to you, but I would be able to lend you a color brush and then just whatever plastic bowl you have at home, right? So I've got some, I don't even know how long I've been on here. Nobody has any questions? That's okay. It's really not that exciting. Hey yo! You keeping out of trouble, Charlie? Okay, this is where it starts getting exciting because it's closer to my face, so I don't want to end up all the way down my face. So boom, boom, boom. There it is. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna move closer so I can see. I'm just taking slightly thinner, skinnier sections, and I'm not gonna put the color. Oh, I know you. You're probably getting into the same kind of trouble that I'm getting into. Well, actually, no. What, I'm gardening and doing nothing? A little thinner section, so you can see, like, I can actually see through it a little bit, right? Like, if I held things, you can see all the way through. So that's how you know if you have a thinner section. So this one, I don't have to put the color on this side and the back side, because if I do that, chances are I might smoosh color onto my face, and then it turns into a whole big crazy mess, which, you know. So then this one I'm just going to take back, whoa, what's going on here? Well, whatever, take backwards and do this. And it's funny because a lot of this I'm actually doing by feel, because again, like I said, I can't really see my face. And then of course, if I get too close to the screen, I'm one of those people now that I have to wear gosh darn readers in order to be seeing. Hey, Jen. You missed the beginning, but I'm sure you can catch up. Yeah, because I think this will... I said hi to Jen, and then I can also say hi to Jenny, because you're both there now. It'll save to Facebook, so you can, you know, find the comedy hour. Okay, so I'm just gonna pop. Whoa, hi. Yeah, it's probably my boobs you just all got there. I'm just gonna sit up on my knees a little bit so I can see a bit more of my face here. Okay, there we go. Yeah, so there it is. Now, the other thing, please don't pull this color to the ends of your hair. Please, please, please don't. Just let the ends of your hair fade and get lighter and do whatever. So I'm going to move this way just so that I can see better. But it looks like I did pretty good getting that color on there. Okay. So this is where, if you have the clippy type things, you know, these are the fun ones. The kids like these ones. I miss work. I really, really miss going to work. I never thought I'd say that. I thought I was the person that would be pretty ready for retirement, but 1 month in, haven't touched a human being because I live alone. I haven't even given my mom and dad a hug. I haven't even given my niece and nephew a hug, or my sis-in-law. It's like, wow, it's crazy. And I didn't realize how used to I am having some kind of a physical connection with human beings during the day. Yeah, that's pretty awesome. I'll double check my hairline once I'm finished here. When I go to the bathroom, I feel like I've missed a little bit in through here, but I need to be able to get up close and personal with that one. So I'm going to use pink, and all I'm going to do is sort of twist these ends together. And this is just for while I'm applying the rest of the hair. And I don't even know if I'm going to apply all of that with you here because it's not really that exciting. So a little twist, and here you go. So again, my biggest messaging here, I'd say, is if you are darker haired, medium brown, dark blonde, all the way to like black or whatever, and your color is dramatically lighter than what your natural hair color grows into, don't color your hair at home. Just don't do it. Just don't. Earlier, I talked a little bit more about all the different things that can go wrong with that one. So if you have little sparkles of gray and you take your hair a little bit darker, you're not, you know, then okay, maybe do your color at home. But honestly, I would reach out to your stylist if you can and say, hey, here's the deal. You know, I've had a couple clients do that, and it's like I said earlier, 1, don't do anything, ride it out. 2, get some root spray that, you know, you're using maybe once a week when you actually leave the house. Now, I get Zoom calling can be a little interesting because it just, you know, you either look like this potato coming out from this way or whatever, but and I think we're all just going to become more and more used to seeing ourselves on screen because it is sometimes a little jarring, but there you are. So for the back, again, remember at the beginning I sort of said if you do like moose ears, like go Canada, woo. If you do moose ears and you have these fingers come up this way, and then you kind of just hug your head, so you're not trying to do a headband thing, but just over back behind your head, that's the part I would sort of work on. And then around the end, I'm going to take I've got the ponytail, so I had a ponytail in the back to hold that. So I'm going to take the whole back of the head. I personally almost never wear my hair parted right down in the middle, and if all the way to the back. And if I did, I'd be like, whatever, I can't see the back of my hair anyways. So I'm just going to go behind my ears and just go around the hairline because, again, it's usually, hey, Ariel, hey, whoa, Drew, how's it going, bub? You know, it's usually the things that people see that you're concerned about. You know, if somebody's actually going through your hair and being like, oh my God, look at that gray hair. Nowadays, unless they live in your home bubble, smack them because they're way too close to you. And even in, quote, what used to be regular days, yeah, unless you're like intimate with them, they shouldn't have their hands in your hair other than me, right? Like, back off, man. Kids seem to love telling their parents about their gray hair, pointing it out. I'm not quite sure what it is. I had one client, it was really funny. She colored her hair. It's quite a nice, like, sort of golden blonde, but she was quite white and on the younger side. So she had a young kid. The kid was like, "Mommy, why are your roots blue?" So this kid was brilliant, because what the kid was seeing was the difference of warm color versus cool color. So even though her mom's hair wasn't actually blue, this is always more challenging doing the crossover. Even though, mom's hair wasn't blue, this kid was seeing the difference. So behind the ear, I'm kind of going by feel again, because I can feel where my scalp temperature that my hair grows out of is actually a little warmer than the rest of my body. So when I put this cool on it, I'm like, oh yeah, there's the scalp. Okay, so I've kind of gone around the bottom. I'm going to pull my hair up tight so I can feel it on the back of my neck here, and then just kind of start up in the hair a little bit, and then just smush it around. But again, the smushing around and being not super precision is a blessing when you're coloring your hair in the darker color rounds. So anytime you're starting to move into those blondes, and if you're a person that it's taken a couple times for a new stylist to figure out and nail the color formula, you're the person who probably doesn't want to be coloring their hair at home. Highlights, leave them, let them grow out. And talk about conditioning of the hair with your stylist, do a hair mask, and just even little things that just make you feel a bit better. So with this, I'm just gonna do a little section here, because again, with you guys, I'm just gonna color to about here. And yeah, it's uneven, it's not perfect, but you know what, pardon my language, fuck perfect. There is no perfect right now. You know what's perfect is almost the weather outside today. It's quite gorgeous out there. Whoa, look at you, silver guy. All right. So here we go, a little bit of color here. Do. So I think the biggest thing, when you're apart from obviously color selection and just like crossing your fingers and hoping for the best, at home color, is trying to keep yourself a little organized with it and having a little purpose behind the just little tiny slices. Hey, Nora. See? And it does get harder when you move into the back, because obviously you can't see what you're doing as well. You're going a little bit by feel. My nose is starting to run. I do not have COVID, but I do have allergies. So it's officially that time of year here where, did you buy color at the store? And if so, what do you recommend? Okay, so this is actually professional color that I'm using. But what I've been recommending, oh my God, this is, and my nose is starting to run. Okay, let's use the towel, deal with that so I'm not all sniffly. Let's start. Oh my God, disaster. See, I know what I'm doing and I still don't get this right. I'm just going to go for it, because this, I think, is also the reality of what people do at home. Screw it, I'm just going to slop the color on there. So, it's like anything, it's expectations. So Karen's life philosophy, usually the thing that completely screws up our life or our emotions is expectations of stuff, whether it's events or people. So I am going to do a little bit of a divide down the middle here, because I've got quite long, flowy, weird hair now. Hair in my mouth. And you just kind of, so I can feel my fingers are on my scalp here, and I'm just gonna get a few sections, and then just go like maybe to here, over the, like, get your crown area done. So sorry, back, Ariel, to what you said about the box color at home is, unfortunately, I'm not able to supply anybody with color from the salon. I don't carry enough stock in order to be able to do that. And because I have zero income coming in right now, I'm not in the place where I can purchase more stock. And I also did enter into a legal contract as a professional with the color at the salon, basically saying that I wouldn't retail it, I wouldn't sell it, that it's professional using it, blah, 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 blah. So personally, I'm not necessarily on the bandwagon of selling color out of the salon, but people are doing what they need to be doing right now. So if that's something that they are able to offer and are comfortable with it, then I suppose power to them. It's just not, well, look how thick that is down there. Yeah, and away we go. So box colors in the store, like I was saying, the biggest issue with the box color in the store is the fact that your colorist or stylist doesn't come with it. And there's a lot of chemistry and precision that goes into formulating colors and stuff. So you need to think about, if you're doing gray touch-up or anything like that, that it is not something that is a permanent thing that you're going to be doing all the time. So you're not looking for perfect. So if you're coloring, if your hair's on the darker side and you're coloring it darker, hey Dean, coloring it darker, you're better to err on the side of lighter at the roots, just so that you don't end up with, so you can see how challenging this is. And that's the thing with, again, with the darker color, I'm able to just kind of slop it on and get it going, and it's okay. Like, look, I got skinny section here, it's big fat section over here, it's kind of like whatever. But this is why I just say, if you're blonde, don't do it. Like, unless I suppose you have somebody who you trust to be able to do it for you, that can section the hair and not be your own hands. But if you're in that highlight world, I would just ride it out. Find some root spray that blends in some grays if that's the thing that is distressing you the most. If it's the darkness of your root area growing out, then I would, again, I think some of the blonde root sprays can actually give that sort of illusion of the hair being a little bit lighter. So I know what happened over here is I didn't get my side part back quite the same way. So I'm just kind of going for, oh God, Rhino's here. Hey Rhino, guess what I'm doing? So I think my main messaging, I don't know, am I even allowed to say that I have a message? I suppose through all this again is just to reach out to your stylist in regards to potential guidance to home color purchasing. And just sort of trust what they say. And this is the hardest part of doing your hair, is the back, because your arms do actually start to get a certain amount of tired. And I'm all over the map with this sectioning on the back here right now. I'm going completely by feel. So again, like if you have some kind of precision color that takes some time for your stylist or colorist to do, and has maybe even taken you years to find that person that just nails it time and time again, don't do your color at home. Ride it out. That honestly is 100% your safest bet moving forward in these COVID adventures, is just don't do anything. Let the eyelashes drop off. Let the nails grow out. Give your body some of that space to breathe, I suppose. I'm not sure, right? Like, I've been hearing and reading, I'm on a couple of beauty boards, like online social media boards, and that there's actually people that are phoning or calling their stylist and almost bullying them into doing a home visit or a home color. Bye, or Ariel, you know. And I'm sorry, but my life and my family's life and my friends' lives and the elders that are around us and the people that have, you know, previous underlying conditions, their life is way more important than your hair or your nails or your lashes. Truth. Hard truth. I mean, maybe like, I don't know. I'm fortunate I don't have anybody in my world that I think believes that their, you know, their nails or lashes or hair is more important than somebody's life and the lives that are in our community and the people that are still having to go to work, even though maybe they want to be, you know, it's the same message we've been hearing time and time and time again, right? So I just think it's so, human nature is fascinating, right? And I try not to judge because I don't know necessarily the story behind somebody's relationship with their hair or their looks or their, all those kind of things, right? But it's hard, right? Some of us need to really, really go slow and relax and, you know, sleep in and not be productive to adjust to something as huge as this whole scenario is. And then other people need to go into a higher speed where, you know, they've cleaned the house, they've done the things, they've done all that kind of stuff. And I don't think anybody should be shamed for how over the last few weeks they have been adjusting to the way that the world is at the moment. You know, every morning I wake up and I'm just like, yeah, I'm going to work out and do this and that. And I didn't really get to it. And it's really strange. I'll share something quite personal. After my brother died a few years ago, the feelings that I've had over the last month of not being at work completely remind me of how I felt over the first few months after Colin passed away, you know, and it was intense. Like I was in the he had cancer for quite a few years. So I mean, that roller coaster unto itself of just having to live in literally like 2 or 3 week blocks of information. It's a weird skill set that I may have gained of being able to be like, okay, so, you know, this week they're telling us to wear masks out. Okay, cool. So we wear masks out this week, whereas last week they weren't necessarily pushing that in the same way or talking about it. So it's just that like ability to just take what the information that you know right now and be there and go through, because you can't go down those other lines. But after I was in the hospital with Colin for the last week of his life, 24 hours a day with him. And when they stopped his treatments, once we knew that there were no more viable treatments and he was definitely into the sort of final hallway of his life, the cancer for him did end up settling into, I mean, it was originally colon cancer and then it came back metastasized into his bones. But it was actually in his lungs that ended up being what took him from us. Initially, they thought it was going to, I don't even know what's going to be over here. Initially, they thought, oh yeah, I missed a whole section here. Awesome. They thought that it was going to be his kidney because he had some small tumors in his kidney, that it would be kidney failure, but it ended up being his lung. And all I can say is witnessing someone not able to breathe without huge amounts of effort or oxygen tubes. I mean, he was never intubated because that wasn't where he was at, because it was his end of life and stuff. But the last couple days he was alive, it was really, really, really hard to see that. So I can only imagine what our front workers are facing when people are going into the ICU or needing to go on an oxygen and stuff like that. Like, it is, I don't know. I mean, if I keep going, I'm going to end up just bawling and crying here, which isn't the intention. What has happened here? I'm not sure what's happened here, but we'll deal with that in a second. Yeah, so just, if we do what we need to do and don't try to call your hairdressers or body workers or estheticians and ask them to go back, because we don't want people having to deal with getting sick. I truly can't see what's going on in the back of my head. And I completely lost my train of thought. I was gonna stop and not do, I've got to not do the whole, awesome. Not do the whole head, but you know, I got in there and kept going because apparently I miss talking to people for 8 hours a day, even though I'm a hardcore introvert. Hey, Jason. Hey, guess what landed in my bank account today, guys? Canada Emergency Response Benefit. Yeah, I got that all right. Yeah, so that was a relief that happened. And yeah, here we are. Oh my God, I don't even... See, and I understand why when you do your hair at home, it becomes really tempting to just smush it through all the ends, because you get to this point and you're like, what the heck have I done? Ugh. All right. So it feels like I got most of the back, but again, if I was you, I would potentially just stop here. Just do the front of your hair. Get the part that you really don't like. I'm going to pull these things out. So the other thing you don't want to do if you're doing your hair color, because I know sometimes they say this, is they say to do the, like, people do this and then do this and clamp it down. So what you've done at that point is you've created this little pocket in through here. So there is product oxidizing here and sort of off-gassing a little bit on your head, right? So if you create this little pocket, you could potentially create a hot spot where the none of the oxygen can actually escape, and it can create potential irritation on the scalp. So what you want to do is you actually want to let your hair kind of be a little big and floofy. You know, just lift the hair up so that it's like going back off your face. And again, because I have dark hair, I can just kind of drag my fingers through and I don't have to worry about it because my hair is already dark. So I'm not going to make it more black. So don't pull this color through. This is going to process for 45 minutes for me. Do follow, if you're using a box home color, do follow the instructions on that. Leaving it on longer does not necessarily, actually it doesn't make it work better. And leaving it on shorter also doesn't really do it. It's chemistry. It's made to do a certain thing. So this process is 35 to 45 minutes. I know my hair. I do the 45 minutes on it. And a lot of these colors will say, pull through for the last 10 minutes. Don't pull through the last 10 minutes. Just let the ends of your hair get a little bit lighter. Let your stylist and colorist deal with it down the floor. Oh, I got like some boob action going on here now. Cuz, hey, Andy, look, I'm done. And mom and dad are supposed to be, my mom made me masks, so they are non-contact, dropping it a little later today, but I might have to actually tell them. I think that, yeah, so there we go. I don't even really know. So I'm just going through, it's in there. Yeah, so here we are. It's not exactly glorious looking, but it is what it is. So things wrapping up. What is going to happen here is I'm going to take this off. These things, maybe I should leave one on. Is if you have medium brown, dark blonde, darker hair, and you go a lot lighter than you normally do, like your natural color growing in, don't color your hair at home. Just ride it out. Just don't do it. It is easier for your colorist to deal with 2 to 3 inches of your virgin color, no color on the hair with the blonde on the end, it is easier for them to fix and correct that and balance that color out than it is if you get in there playing with different colors and you end up with all these bands and one's perfect, one's too light, one's really brassy, one did nothing, all that kind of stuff. So blondes, honestly, I hate to say it, I love you, but ride it out. Don't do your hair. If you're like me, where you have a little bit of gray, you color your hair darker, reach out to your stylist, ask them for some guidance in using drugstore color. I mean, I'm open to people reaching out for me if I don't do your if I don't do your hair. But the reality is you're not in front of me. I'm not familiar with your hair. And it is challenging to do a proper color consultation, but I would be able to give a little bit of guidance, at least what to avoid, right? If your hair is like really, really silver, you need to be making sure that you're buying a product that is for gray coverage. Things like temporary colors or semi-permanent colors, or those ones they don't cover. So if you're like, oh, I'm going to get this because it seems really gentle and it's only semi-permanent. Look, I got color all over my face. Semi-permanent, it's probably not going to touch your color at all. Or do any of the gray coverage, or potentially make it look kind of funny, like that pinky copper, penny copper kind of look, or pink if you're trying to do that more deeper, sort of cooler red wine kind of an idea. What else was I going to say? I can't remember. Use a brush and bowl if you can. It does make sense. It's much easier. Roommates, partners, children, teenagers could help you out. Color what you see. Don't necessarily worry about the back of your hair. Just, if you're on a Zoom call, all they're seeing is this part, right? So do that. I think that's all I've got. I don't know. I think that's all I've got. So I'm going to let this process. And then from here, I'm literally just going to hop in the shower and have a full shower, add water to it. I'm also let the water run through it. When the water first hits color, it almost feels slimy, like a little slippery. Keep letting the water run through it until the hair almost feels like it's squeaky clean. The water should remove almost 100% of the color off your head. Then you put the shampoo and wash your hair, and then the shampoo will stop the action of any of the chemical processing that is still happening on scalp. And then do your thing. Now, if I had, say, red hair, and I had like a relatively vibrant red hair, whether it was an orange red, like the warmer red, or the cooler red, so like red wine or copper, either of those, a lot of times what happens is the ends they fade out, right? So they're not as red. So you're going to do your roots and it's going to be bright red. I've had one client call, and so I've guided her towards what will do the gray coverage for her. And then on the ends, if you want to just make it vibrant, that's when you can actually use some of those kind of like punky colors out there if you wanted to, that look like a color conditioner, and just run them through. And I would suggest potentially doing it in 2 steps. So for myself, I would be comfortable doing it all in one step on myself, and obviously on other people, I'd be comfortable there too. But if I was doing it on myself, I would let this process, wash it off, rough dry the hair, and then put the other color that's just like the brighter, you're just livening the hair up, put that on just on the ends of the hair, and then rinse it all off. Because if you start getting too many things happening on your own head, that's when, again, all sorts of fun things can start to happen. And it is more intense to do color corrections than the salon. It does cost more money. It takes up a lot of time, and sometimes it doesn't actually even get corrected in one swoop. It sometimes has to be a few different appointments to get things back to where you want. So now, unless you're really brave and you've always played with hair color, go for it. Like, change your hair color, do whatever, but don't have any expectations. Like, so if you have if I have this color hair and I'm like, I want to be blonde, and I pick up a box of color that has a blonde on it, it's going to do nothing to me other than probably give me orange roots if I had no color on my roots. So have fun, be safe, reach out to people that you know that are in the beauty industry to ask things about how to grow the nails out and have them, you know, not be picking at them and peeling things. Like, what's the best way to manage lash extensions if that's a thing that you have and those are growing. I love you too, Lily. Whoa, I almost just sent that color bowl flying. I totally did the like poof and almost tipped it. I hope I haven't rambled completely sideways on things. I hope this has helped a little bit for those that were wanting a little bit of help. Right, yeah, see, I totally missed a spot. I need to go to the bathroom and get that clean. So I'm going to sign off at this point. I love you all. Thank you. Be kind to yourself. Be kind to each other. And, you know, this too shall pass. This too shall pass. Okay. Ooh, yeah, Lily. Good one. Good one, Lily. Yes. Okay. All right. Be well, everybody. Mwah. Maybe I'll do a bang tring tomorrow. Who knows? Who knows? All right. You're the best, Susan. Good luck with your color. I'm here for a video call if you need. Totally. Bye, cuz. Okay. I'm out of here.